We have seen an overview of available locator strategies in Selenium WebDriver in the last video. Now it's time to use them in our test script. Once we decide the locating strategy for a web element, we need to use find approach before performing any action like click or type. Selenium WebDriver provides two methods to find web element, find element and find elements. We already know that a locating strategy may find one or more web elements. So if you want only one web element to be found for a given locator strategy, then we need to use find element method. But if we want to get more than one web element matching with the same locating strategy, then we need to use find elements method. Let's focus on find element method in this video. So let me show you the scenario which I am going to use in this example. So I am going to use Toolshop website. We have a link on this Toolshop called sign in. Click on it. We have a email text box. So I am going to identify this web element using Selenium script. So the first step will be deciding the locating strategy which we can use for this web element. So right click, inspect, and in the last video I have already explained that if we have id or name attribute for the web element, then the first priority should be id or name. But before that, make sure that your id is not duplicate. A website can contain multiple web pages, so it is possible that same id can be present on multiple web pages of a website, but we need to ensure that a given id is unique for a web page. For example, we have id email here, so this email should be unique within this login page. The same ID might be present for register page. No need to bother about that. We need to ensure that ID value should be unique for this page. How to verify that? You can simply click on value and do Ctrl C. Now press Ctrl F, use hash and put the value. So you can see it is showing you 1 of 1. That means we have only one HTML element with the ID email on this web page. After ensuring this, we need to use in our script. But if you find more than one, then maybe we can use the indexing, or you can use some different locating strategy. I have already written the basic script where I am launching the Chrome browser and I am directly going to the login page. I am not going to the home page and clicking on sign in as of now. So to find the element using that locating strategy, we need to use the browser reference and call a method. So use Chrome driver dot find element. You can see we have find element, find elements, and one is overloaded find elements. The return type of find element is the web element. That means we have only one element returned, but the return type of find elements is a list of web elements. So let's go step by step. Use the find element. This find element takes an argument of type by. By is an abstract class. So use by, and here we have methods for each locating strategy. If you want to use id, then we have id method. If you want to use name, then we have name method. So we need to use id. So use by dot id. And you can see it is taking one string argument. Means I need to pass the value of id here, which is email. So pass that value into double quote. If you control click on by, you can see it is an abstract class, and this is the method we are using it. Now the return type of find element method is called web element. So let me store the return value into a type web element. Let me give a name like email text box. So now what is web element here? So web element is an interface, and whatever web element it finds, it will store the reference into this particular variable of type web element, so that we can perform further actions which we'll see in detail. But as of now, we're simply storing into a variable of type web element. I'm not going to type as of now, but I'm going to call a method which will just say whether this element is displayed or not, and the return type of that method will be boolean. So we have a method here which we can call on the web element reference. So use email text box dot is displayed. You can see the return type of this method is boolean. So this method generally gives you boolean value. That means it will return true if the element is displayed on the web page, otherwise false. So let me call is displayed and put into a variable of type boolean and use the sysout to print the is present value. Let me execute this program. So after the execution, you can see it is returning you true. Now let's see another concept. So when find element finds, it will return you the element. But what will happen if it does not find the web element using that locating strategy? So wantedly, I am going to put the wrong value of id. That means instead of email, I will put email 1. So we know that we don't have any web element with the ID email 1. Let me run the program again and let's see what happens. So you can see execution is over, and if you see the console, here we see some exception. Exception in thread main, no such element exception. So find element method will throw an exception when it does not find the element using the given locating strategy. You can read it further like no such element, unable to locate element. That means I'm not able to find any element, so I am giving you an exception. And you can see one part here like method CSS selector and selector value is email 1. So we are actually passing the ID, but that ID has been converted to CSS selector. We can see this particular line here, which command we are using. So we are calling the find element method where we are passing locator type as ID, and here's the value. If you come down, you can get the line number also where this exception occurred. So you can see in the main method, it occurred at find element examples.java at line number 14. So click on it, you can see at this method we got the exception. Now let's see little bit about the no such element exception. Double click on ship and type no such element exception. We can see one class is shown here. Click on it. So you can see this exception is a type of class which is extending not found exception, and here you can see support URL. The same URL we see in the log as well. You can see here. If you click on it, you can find the basic reason why this exception was thrown. You can see the element cannot be found at the exact moment you attempted to locate it. We are not able to find because we provided the wrong ID value. They are giving you some tips why it had happened and what are the possible solutions we have. One more small point here. We already know that my Selenium script will wait till this application is loaded completely. Once it is loaded, then only it will start finding the element immediately. It will not retry to find it again. It will try once, and if it is not finding, it will throw the exception. But we can change this behavior using an approach which I will cover in the upcoming videos. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.